Koenigsegg and Bugatti have long stood at the top of hypercar rivalry, pushing engineering limits across Europe. After a heated online drama involving car builder and YouTuber Mat Armstrong, tensions escalated beyond social media. Behind the scenes, unexpected moves from Koenigsegg began circulating, hinting at a response no one predicted. What started as a controversy soon turned into a story about power, reputation, and influence in the automotive world. Was this Koenigsegg's boldest move against a viral automotive creator yet? The world of hypercars is built on speed, precision, and reputation. Every brand fights not only on the track, but also in the minds of fans across the globe. Koenigsegg stands among the most respected names in this world, known for extreme engineering and record-breaking performance. Alongside it, Bugatti represents luxury combined with raw power, a symbol of prestige and speed for over a century. In this competitive space, even small comparisons can turn into global debates. That is exactly what happened when online discussions began linking Koenigsegg and Bugatti in performance arguments. Videos, comments, and breakdowns started appearing across social media platforms, each one trying to prove which brand stood higher in the hypercar world. At the center of this growing attention was Mat Armstrong, a well-known automotive content creator. Known for rebuilding damaged supercars and sharing the process with millions of viewers, his name quickly became part of the wider discussion. Clips from his content were referenced, shared, and analyzed by fans who were already deep in debate over engineering differences between hypercar giants. What began as simple comparisons of speed, design, and engineering philosophies slowly transformed into something much larger. Fans were no longer just talking about cars. They were talking about identity, legacy, and pride. Koenigsegg's innovation in lightweight engineering and Bugatti's dominance in top-speed engineering became symbolic points in a much deeper argument. As more creators joined the discussion, the situation began to shift. Commentary channels broke down every claim. Reaction videos multiplied. Social media algorithms pushed the content further, turning a niche automotive debate into a global talking point. Millions of viewers who had never followed hypercars before suddenly found themselves watching comparisons and analysis videos. The involvement of Mat Armstrong added a new layer of attention. His audience, highly engaged and passionate about automotive content, amplified every mention and clip. Even small references became viral moments. Discussions spread from YouTube to forums, from forums to short-form videos, and then into broader automotive communities. Behind this growing wave of attention, something unusual was happening. The brands involved were not directly responding, but silence did not stop the conversation. Instead, it made the speculation stronger. Fans began interpreting meaning from every detail, every repost, and every indirect mention. Soon, the debate was no longer just about performance numbers or engineering facts. It became about influence. It became about how online creators could shape perception around some of the most powerful automotive brands in the world. Koenigsegg, known for its precision and innovation, now found itself unexpectedly positioned inside a viral digital narrative. Across the internet, millions of eyes were watching. Every new video added fuel. Every comment section became a battlefield of opinions. And within this growing storm of discussion, one thing became clear. This was no longer just a car debate. It had become a global story about reputation, influence, and modern automotive culture. And as the conversation reached its peak intensity, something even more unexpected was beginning to form behind the scenes. But the first real signal of escalation was still waiting to appear. As the debate around Koenigsegg and Bugatti continued to grow online, the situation took a sharper turn. What once stayed inside car forums and niche communities began spreading into mainstream social platforms. Short clips, reaction videos, and breakdown content started shaping a new version of the story, one that moved faster than facts could be confirmed. Mat Armstrong's name appeared more often in the middle of this discussion. His content, focused on rebuilding high-performance cars, was not originally part of any brand conflict. However, his videos were repeatedly referenced by creators trying to explain engineering differences and real-world performance outcomes. With every mention, his audience became more aware of the growing tension around the hypercar debate. Soon, a wave of commentary videos began circulating. Some focused on Koenigsegg's engineering breakthroughs, while others highlighted Bugatti's long history of speed records and luxury dominance. These videos did not just compare machines, they compared identities. Each brand became a symbol of a different philosophy in automotive design. As these narratives spread, social media algorithms pushed the content even further. What started as niche automotive discussion turned into a viral topic seen by millions of viewers who had never followed hypercars before. The more people watched, the more opinions formed, and the more divided the audience became. At the center of this growing attention, Mat Armstrong's audience played a major role in amplifying the conversation. His followers were highly engaged, often breaking down videos frame by frame, analyzing details, and sharing interpretations across platforms. Even a small mention of Koenigsegg or Bugatti in unrelated content was enough to spark discussion threads. Meanwhile, speculation about Koenigsegg's reaction began to intensify. Fans searched for any sign of response, any hint of acknowledgement, and any possible message hidden in silence. The absence of official communication only made the curiosity stronger. Every small update from the automotive world was analyzed for meaning. At the same time, content creators began positioning themselves inside the narrative. Some framed it as a rivalry between engineering philosophies. Others treated it as a modern digital culture moment where influencers and global brands unexpectedly collided. The story was no longer controlled by one voice. It had become a collective narrative shaped by millions. As pressure built, viewers started expecting a direct response from Koenigsegg. Every day, without clarity, led to more speculation. Discussions shifted from performance comparisons to questions about intent, reputation, and influence. The hypercar world, usually defined by technical excellence, was now being shaped by online interpretation. Even automotive journalists began covering the situation, not as a technical rivalry, but as a cultural shift in how brands are perceived in the digital age. The line between entertainment and industry discussion started to blur. By this point, the video that triggered much of the discussion had already been viewed millions of times, but its impact was still growing. Each re-upload, reaction, and commentary added another layer to the unfolding narrative, pushing the situation further out of control. And just as the online storm reached its peak intensity, a new shift began forming behind closed doors that no one in the public expected. But the silence that followed would soon change everything that everyone thought they understood. As the online discussion reached global scale, attention slowly turned toward Koenigsegg itself. Fans expected a statement, a clarification, or even a subtle acknowledgement of the growing debate. But instead, silence remained. Koenigsegg, a company built on precision engineering and controlled messaging, chose not to engage publicly. No direct response was issued to the viral videos, no comment addressed the comparisons, and no official position was shared about the ongoing online discussion involving Mat Armstrong and Bugatti-related debates. This silence quickly became a topic of its own. Across social media, viewers began analyzing what it could mean. Some believed the brand was ignoring the situation on purpose, avoiding unnecessary attention. Others thought it was a calculated strategy, allowing the noise to fade without feeding it further. In the automotive world, where reputation is carefully protected, silence is rarely random. Meanwhile, the conversation online only grew stronger. Without official clarity, creators filled the gap. Commentary channels continued breaking down Koenigsegg's engineering achievements, especially its lightweight carbon fiber design, extreme power-to-weight ratios, and record-setting performance. At the same time, Bugatti's legacy of top-speed dominance and luxury engineering remained a central reference point in the debate. Mat Armstrong's name continued to appear in these discussions, not because of direct involvement, but because of the audience ecosystem surrounding his content. Clips, reactions, and reposts kept his connection to the topic alive, even as the conversation expanded far beyond his original videos. As days passed, silence from Koenigsegg began to feel louder than any statement. Fans interpreted small actions, such as social media activity unrelated to the controversy, as potential hidden signals. Every post, every like, and every absence of comment was examined closely. Automotive journalists started to take notice. Articles and analysis pieces began appearing, not about cars alone, but about communication strategy in the modern digital era. Koenigsegg was now part of a larger discussion about how elite brands manage viral attention in a world driven by online narratives. Inside the community, opinions split further. One group believed Koenigsegg's silence showed confidence, suggesting there was no need to respond to online debates. Another group saw it as strategic restraint, waiting for the right moment to act. A smaller group believed a response was being prepared behind the scenes. As speculation increased, the story shifted again. It was no longer just about engineering comparisons or online debates. It became a case study in how silence itself can influence global perception. The pressure continued to build, not through statements, but through absence of them. Every passing day added weight to the anticipation. Fans expected that eventually something would break the silence and reshape the entire conversation. And behind closed doors, something was indeed beginning to move, something the public could not yet see. But that silence was about to reshape the entire discussion. As the public debate expanded, pressure began building far beyond social media. Koenigsegg, a brand known for extreme precision and control, now found itself indirectly pulled into a global online narrative it never openly entered. What started as fan discussions and creator videos had turned into a worldwide conversation about reputation, engineering pride, and digital influence. Inside the automotive community, the comparisons became more intense. Koenigsegg's lightweight hypercar philosophy was constantly measured against Bugatti's high-speed engineering legacy. Every discussion thread seemed to circle back to the same question of identity. Was innovation more important than tradition, or was dominance measured only by speed records? At the same time, Mat Armstrong's presence in the wider conversation continued to grow indirectly. His audience, known for breaking down complex automotive builds, kept resurfacing clips and references that connected back to the debate. Even when unrelated, his content ecosystem remained tied to the unfolding narrative through constant online association. As the situation developed, content creators across platforms began analyzing every angle. Some treated it as a rivalry between engineering philosophies. Others saw it as a reflection of how modern internet culture can reshape brand perception in real time. What made the situation unique was not a direct conflict, but the scale of interpretation built around it. Behind the scenes, silence from Koenigsegg continued. No official statements were released, and no direct engagement was made with the viral discussions. However, industry observers began noting something important. Silence in such a high-profile situation often signals internal evaluation rather than indifference. Within automotive circles, speculation increased. Some believed that internal discussions were taking place about how to manage the unexpected attention. Others thought the brand was carefully observing how narratives were forming before deciding whether any response was even necessary. Meanwhile, online pressure continued to grow. Every new video added more fuel to the conversation. Reaction channels analyzed engineering specs in detail, comparing acceleration figures, power outputs, and design philosophies. But the discussion had already moved beyond technical facts. It had become emotional for many fans, tied to loyalty and perception rather than pure data. As more audiences joined the debate, the scale of attention became difficult to ignore. Even casual viewers who had no prior interest in hypercars were now exposed to the controversy through viral clips and algorithm-driven recommendations. The story had expanded beyond automotive enthusiasts into general internet culture. At this stage, the absence of clarity became the most powerful element of the entire narrative. Without a direct response, every detail was open to interpretation. Every rumor had space to grow. Every theory found an audience. Inside this growing tension, expectations for a major development increased significantly. Many believed that Koenigsegg would eventually address the situation, either directly or indirectly, to stabilize the narrative forming around its name. But what no one expected was that the next move would not come as a statement at all, but as something far more unexpected, something that would completely shift how the entire situation was understood. And the real turning point was still waiting to unfold behind the scenes. As global attention reached its peak, the automotive world waited for a clear response. Every major platform was watching Koenigsegg, expecting either a statement or a public reaction that could settle the growing debate. But instead, the situation took a direction no one predicted. Rather than engaging directly in online arguments, Koenigsegg's presence in the wider conversation began to shift in a quieter, more subtle way. Industry watchers and dedicated fans started noticing small changes in how the brand was being discussed across media coverage and automotive circles. Nothing dramatic was announced, yet the narrative around the company began to evolve. At the same time, Mat Armstrong's continued influence in the automotive content space kept the discussion alive. His videos, rebuild projects, and community engagement ensured that any topic linked to high-performance cars quickly gained attention. Even indirect references connected back into the larger hypercar debate, keeping the conversation active across multiple platforms. As speculation grew, viewers began re-examining older interviews, technical breakdowns, and historical comparisons involving Koenigsegg and Bugatti. Every detail was revisited through the lens of the current online narrative. What once felt like normal automotive discussion now carried new meaning in the context of viral attention. Koenigsegg's silence, instead of weakening the story, had transformed into a central part of it. The absence of direct communication created space for interpretation, and that interpretation spread faster than any official message could. Online communities began treating the situation as more than a debate. It became a case study in modern influence, where brands and creators existed in the same digital ecosystem. Meanwhile, automotive commentators pointed out how rare it was for a hypercar manufacturer to become part of such a widespread online narrative without directly participating. The situation highlighted how quickly internet culture could shape perception, even without official involvement from the companies being discussed. As days passed, anticipation only increased. Viewers expected a decisive moment that would clarify everything. Instead, the situation continued evolving in unexpected ways. The conversation expanded further, drawing in broader audiences, new creators, and even mainstream media discussions about online influence in the automotive industry. Then, a shift began to emerge. Not through a public statement, not through a press release, and not through direct confrontation, but through a change in how the narrative itself was being absorbed and reinterpreted across platforms. What once looked like a simple online controversy had now transformed into something larger. It was no longer just about Koenigsegg, Bugatti, or Mat Armstrong. It had become a reflection of how modern reputation can be shaped in real time by global digital audiences. And just when it seemed the story had reached its conclusion, the final truth began to surface in a way no one expected. Call to action. If you enjoyed this documentary story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more